10 tools ran every desk between 1915 and 1930. Some you still recognize, others vanished into ink dust. Our number one turned thoughts into paychecks, and it wasn't the telephone. Here's the top 10 objects that powered work in school 100 years ago. This is Life 100 years ago, office and school desk objects, 1915 to 1930. Ranked. 10. Marble composition book, circa 1915 to 1930. Sewn signatures, hard boards, and black and white marbling made this the classroom standard for copy work, arithmetic, and neat penmanship. Cheap and uniform, it trained dated entries, margins, and legible script that carried into office ledgers and forms. Ringed binders and later spiral notebooks diversified the format, but the marbled copybook never disappeared. 9. Wall mount hand crank pencil sharpener, Boston APSCO, circa 1915 to 1930. Helical cutters in a clamp or wall-mounted housing produced a consistent point and captured shavings, ideal for ledgers, diagrams, and classroom work. Brands like Boston Pencil Sharpener Company and APSCO dominated the market. Durable gearing meant one unit could serve a room full of users without littering the blotter with graphite dust. The basic mechanism survives in modern manual sharpeners. Electric versions arrived mid-century. 8. Loose leaf binder and hole punch, 3-ring, circa 1915 to 1930. Metal rings and standardized hole spacing turned paper into a system. Pages could be added, removed, and reorganized without rewriting. While patents existed earlier, companies like Wilson & Jones popularized the 3-ring binder as a standard office and school tool in this era. Students built course notebooks, clerks assembled client files, price lists, and procedures that stayed current as pages changed. The logic of modular, reorderable records persists in folders and digital files. 7. Desk stapler, Hotchkiss, Bostage, circa 1915 to 1930. Compact top-press staplers bound reports, invoices, and homework packets faster and flatter than pins or string. Early models from Hotchkiss used a long wired-together strip of staples. By the mid-1920s, Bostitch introduced staplers using easy-to-load strips of pre-formed cemented staples that became the industry standard. Standardized staples reduced lost pages and filing headaches as offices scaled up paperwork. The form factor still sits on desks. Later, photocopied packets and PDFs changed what we bind, not why. 6. Carbon paper, manifolding sets, circa 1915 to 1930. A wax-inked sheet between papers let one keystroke or pen stroke create instant duplicates for receipts, letters, and ledgers, one for the customer, one for the file. It multiplied output without presses or mimeographs and made record-keeping routine. Carbonless paper and then office copiers replaced the mess. The make one, keep one habit lives on in CC'd emails and duplicate digital forms. 5. Office dictation machine, dictaphone or Edaphone, wax cylinder, circa 1915 to 1930. Desktop recorders inscribed voice onto reusable wax cylinders. Typists later replayed the cylinders through headphones with foot controls to produce clean copy. Competing brands like Columbia's Dictaphone and Edison's Edaphone dominated the market. This split composition from typing, letting executives dictate anywhere and staff transcribe on schedule, an early form of asynchronous office work. Wire and tape recorders, then digital dictation replaced wax. The workflow persisted in law, medicine, and executive offices. 4. Mechanical adding machine, Burroughs and Comptometer, circa 1915 to 1930. Columns of keys and a crank, or a direct action keyboard on the Comptometer, drove a visible register that made payrolls, invoices, and inventories both fast and auditable. Burroughs' column adders excelled at printed totals. Skilled operators of Felt and Terence comptometer delivered rapid, error-check sums that professionalized bookkeeping. 10-key adding machines followed mid-century. Electronic calculators and spreadsheets took over later. 3. 3x5 card index and file drawer, circa 1915 to 1930. Standardized index cards arranged behind tabbed guides in small drawers organized clients, suppliers, vocabulary, or library holdings at arm's reach. Offices and classrooms relied on these compact catalogs to retrieve, sort, and update information without rewriting. Rolodexes and then databases replace the furniture, but fields, tags, and filters echo the card catalog structure. 2. Desk telephone. Candlestick to early desk set, circa 1915 to 1930. From candlestick transmitters with separate ringers to late 1920s cradle desk sets, the telephone put real-time voice on the blotter, closing deals, confirming orders, and coordinating deliveries without a letter's delay. Urban dial service expanded through the 1920s, moving calls from operators to numbered exchanges. The Western Electric 102, introduced in 1927, was the first widely distributed model to combine the earpiece and mouthpiece into a modern handset. The desk phone silhouette endured into rotary and push-button eras. Today's headsets and soft phones keep the function while leaving the wiring. 1. Standard office typewriter, Underwood No. 5/Royal 10, circa 1915 to 1930. French strike, visible writing, and calibrated margins turned ideas into clean, standardized pages at speed, letters, contracts, memos, and forms. It unified format across offices and paired perfectly with carbon paper, while typists formed a skilled profession at the heart of document production. Electric typewriters, then word processors and PCs, replaced it. The QWERTY keyboard and page conventions still shape our documents. Why this order? The typewriter ranks first because everything either fed it or flowed from it. Dictation to drafts, cards to addresses, phones to instructions, carbon to duplicates, staplers and binders to bundles. The desk telephone comes second for collapsing distance into a conversation and accelerating every deal. The card index earns third by structuring knowledge retrieval, the skeleton beneath paper muscles. Adding machines reduced arithmetic errors at scale. Dictation split authorship from keystrokes. Carbon, staplers, and loose leaf governed how papers multiplied, stayed together, and stayed current. The sharpener and composition book remind us that the whole system began with the pencil point and a ruled page. What do these tools tell us? That a desk is a workflow, not a surface. One tool captured words, another checked numbers, another found names, another stitched pages, and one rang the world. A century later, our desk fits on a screen, but the habits are familiar: compose, copy, calculate, file, call, and bind. If you could borrow one for a week, which would you pick? The instant duplicates of carbon, the tactile speed of a comptometer, or the clack and ding of an Underwood? Either way, the old desk still hums under the new one.